and welcome back to Middle-earth Gaming. And in today's video, it's a little bit different. Might actually be a bit controversial, actually, because we are about to. I'm going to react to the new Season 2 trailer for Rings of Power, the one that just came out for San Diego Comic-Con. I've actually put a poll out on the channel, on the community page, basically saying, would you guys like me to react to this? And it's actually a lot closer than what I thought. At the moment, it's about 45% yes to 55% no, and the comments are really nice. So thank you guys for commenting, telling me why you don't want to see it, and telling me why you do want to see it as well. And people are saying, it's not, it's just because, they're not a fan of the project, but it's, it's not you, which is really nice. So I think I'm going to put this out anyway. So please do be kind in the comments, be kind to one another. If you guys don't like it, if you do want to comment why you don't like it, state why, and, try not to be, too nasty in the comments, please, guys, because that's not what we're about here. We're about having fun, about our wonderful world of Middle Earth. And as I've said before, I enjoyed Rings of Power. Before we get into this later on, like after the trailer, we'll have a look at, break it down to see what I liked and probably what I didn't like, because again, I enjoyed the first season for what it was. Obviously it's not a representation of what Tolkien created, but it is what would you call it? It's like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Obviously that's a lot. Obviously we're getting into a bit of a ramble here, but obviously PJ's version is very true to the story, but there's massive plot points that are complete fan fiction. Obviously, the elves arriving at Helm's Deep, Haldir being killed off at Helm's Deep. There's no some characters don't turn up. Arwen comes and helps Frodo instead of Glorfindel. There's a lot of stuff there that does change up. Characters are completely different. Aragorn's completely different. There's a lot of differences that people don't really understand. And I think it's just another representation of what Tolkien, Professor Tolkien did. And obviously it's if it's not gonna be for everyone, obviously that won't be the thing. I do, I have hope, that some people will enjoy it, but you're not going to change anyone's opinions, and nor should we. Everyone has their own opinion, and my opinion is that I enjoyed it. There were some parts I liked, there's some parts I disliked, and there's some parts that I absolutely loved, like Durin and Elrond's relationship. I think that's gonna be great to see more of that. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, and we'll have a bit of a chat afterwards. All right, guys. So here we go. First reaction to Rings of Power Season 2 San Diego Comic-Con trailer. So in 3, 2, 1, go.
Sauron sees himself as master of all Middle-earth. He seeks to rule it not only through conquest, but by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that, he needs not armies.
No!
But rings.
In choosing to wear those rings, you have all become his collaborators.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving me, but I believe it is guiding me.
All this may be by his design.
These rings may be how he attains power.
They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. Who is this man?
He is no man. He deceived me. He is Sauron.
What am I to call you? A sharer of gifts. Our work begins now.
I have walked across mountains and deserts to help my friend find his destiny. One the fate of the world may depend on.
Is it my task to stop the fire? Is it my task to face Sauron? To try and cheat death might lead to an even greater catastrophe.
Father, take off the ring. afraid, Durin.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril. Will you abandon them to their doom?
No, what have you done to me?
Leave Sauron to me.
Promise me, Elrond. You will not stop until he is destroyed.
Forgiveness takes an age.
I need your axe, old friend.
Fight with me.
Fight.
Fight with our friends!
When the darkness falls, there are always some who rise forth and shine. You will give me the nine.
Anything else? Oh. All right, guys. That was so that was the trailer for Rings of Power Season 2. San Diego Comic-Con trailer. It's coming out in, as I'm recording this, like just over a month away. Yeah, I think we should, have a bit of a chat about it. Like I said, please let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But be nice about it. Be obviously speak your mind, speak what you think about it. But be respectful, please. That's all I ask. So let's start from the start, and we'll go through image by image. All right, so I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions about this trailer. So first up, of course, we have Halbrand here, or Sauron, of course. He's coming on horseback, coming back. I think this is probably him coming back to the people of the Southlands, and him coming back as Halbrand, because they have no idea what's going on. They just think he's Halbrand. He just thinks that he's their king. So I think he's probably come back to them, because the last time we saw that, they were heading to Pelagia. I believe it was supposed to be Pelagia that they were supposed to be heading to. So I'm assuming he's probably gone straight there. We have some of the Elven rings, the 3 Elven rings being thrown about, which is a bit interesting. We have a mask, or like a crown here. It could be the Witch King's mask. It could be Sauron's, the Witch King's crown. It could be Sauron's crown, but I don't think it's going to be the Witch Crown. I think it's a bit too early in the plot for that. I think it could be a what we see later on, as Adar says, "Leave Sauron to me." I think Saruman says in Battle of Five Armies. I think that this could be a flashback scene where Adar is. I think we're going to see a flashback of what happened to Sauron, or how Sauron became Halbrand. And obviously he killed Sauron, he specifically said. So I think this might be a scene of where, because we see the crown being smashed onto someone. So I think, if you want to, it's probably going to be something like, if you want a crown, here's your crown, and, stabs him, or, kills him in some respect on that. So I assume that this is probably going to be a flashback scene. Or if this might be like at the end of the season, where I have a theory that Adar's probably going to die this season, and the orcs will follow Sauron. They're handing Sauron this crown, or something along those lines. It seems that for some reason that they're thinking that the rings are corrupted, which is kind of interesting. Maybe they're going into the idea that Halbrand, or Sauron I should say, almost like influenced the rings, which is crazy because he wasn't there when the rings were created. But maybe because they're thinking, like, it was kind of his image of like what he wanted to do. Maybe they're thinking maybe we shouldn't use them, or something along those lines. But obviously they will. As we know in the Fellowship of the Ring, Galadriel passes the test. So I think all these years she's probably thinking, what am I going to be subjugated to this evil? But again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know how they're gonna go on with this, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Durin the Third with his ring. Sorry guys, with his ring there, so obviously he's been given the dwarven rings have been made at this point, and he's been given one of them, which is cool. And you know, it's already subjugating to his will. You know, he's on. I think he's going to want to dig up Mithril, which probably awakens the Balrog even more, even though it shouldn't be at this point, which is you know, another story for another day. But I think he's already been subjugated to this evil. Like, he's already, you know, he's already an elderly dwarf. He's already, you know, past his prime, so it's probably a bit easier for the ring to corrupt him. Because obviously the 3 Elven rings, they weren't corrupted by Sauron at all, because they, you know, what he wasn't in the process of making them, you know, even in the show or in the lore itself. But him and Celebrimbor did make the other 18, was it? 9 rings for the men, 7 for the dwarves, which would be 16 or 17, sorry. And then, you know, Sauron obviously made the 1. So I think that's Durin here is probably definitely being corrupted by the ring here. Who knows? Do I think he might not? I think he might not survive this season either. As we know that, you know, spoilers. I'm going to say spoilers here. If you know, the lore spoilers anyway, and it looks like it's going to be happening in this season 2. That you know, once Sauron gets found out, you know, he sacks Eregion, kills Celebrimbor. So I think Celebrimbor is going to die this season. If that's going to be happening this season, it's supposed to be like a massive siege, massive battle in this season, from like what we've heard. I also think that you know, in the lore itself, once Elrond comes to aid Eregion, and then gets pushed back, he actually gets help from Durin the Fourth. I'm very confused of which Durin it actually is, because only one Durin is supposed to be alive at any one point. So, you know, obviously it's a bit muffled here. But one of the Durins, obviously it's going to be Durin the Fourth here, because he's Elrond's friend, comes out and helps destroy or pushes back Sauron's forces, so Elrond can escape. And that's when the dwarves come back into the mountain and seal the doors of Durin, which probably should be made this season as well, if they're going to go that deep into the lore. That the doors of Durin that we see the Fellowship go through in the Fellowship of the Ring, they should be made this season. So we'll have to wait and see. That'd be pretty cool to see how they are made with Mithril embedded into it. We have Adar here with a few orcs, which is kind of cool. Again, played by a different actor this season. I don't know too much about that, but you know, still looks cool. I definitely liked Adar in the last season. I think he's a good character to add. It seems like this might be the opposite angle. So obviously all these scenes are being filmed in Lindon. I'm assuming that this is probably very early on in the season, where the rings have already been made, and then they're taken back to to Lindon to try and heal the tree. I assume at that point anyway. Obviously we know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting that it seems that Galadriel tells them that it is Sauron, unless it's from a different scene. But it's definitely going to be interesting of how they react to that. Another from a different, I'm guessing this is probably from a different time. We have that's definitely Círdan. Círdan the Shipwright from the Grey Havens. That's I'm assuming that Gil-galad's giving the other ring too, because obviously he has the other one. And then when Gandalf arrives in Middle Earth, Círdan gives Gandalf the Ring of Fire, which is kind of cool. So I think this is probably from an earlier point, unless they've already healed the tree at this point, and the tree's already, obviously the tree's healed at this point. So I assume that this is probably after the tree's been healed, because I assume that this is where Gil-galad's giving Círdan the Ring of Fire. But again, who knows? It could be something completely different. It could just be introducing Círdan, because he's being introduced in this season, which is cool. And then we have the 3 Elven rings. We have Nenya, Nara, and Vilya. Obviously, we have Galadriel down on the right, Gil-galad on the left, and I assume that's Círdan up on the top there, which is cool. Then we have our Elrond. He's not very happy. He's like, why didn't you guys get me a ring? You know, he's probably just a bit jealous, I assume. But don't worry, you'll get yours eventually, mate. Then we have Galadriel and Elrond riding. I assume that looks like Eregion at that point. Who knows? I assume that's Elrond and Galadriel. I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't look like Eregion. Sorry, that doesn't look like I'm being so confused here. Eregion and Linden. That doesn't look like Linden because it's not near the ocean. That looks like Eregion from the first season, but we'll see. We have probably a shot of the Misty Mountains there, which is cool. Nice to see. Don't know what that is. That might be the Stranger and Nori. Who knows? Traveling. This could be. I'm just having a look. This could be the Watchtower from the first season, but you know, with the broken bridge. But who knows? It could be. It could be. It might not be. But you know, I'm not too sure at that point. We have some orcs. Oh, again, the orcs look amazing as always. They did in the first season. We have Halbrand here again. It almost looks like Numenor, but I don't think it is. It's probably in Pelagia, I assume. It definitely looks Numenorian, but it's probably Pelagia. I don't think he's gone back to Numenor. Unless this might be a flashback when he's in Numenor. Who knows? I think we might see a lot of flashbacks this season of what he was thinking at the time. Because we obviously got a lot of Galadriel's perspective. But we didn't get too much of Halbrand's or Sauron's perspective. So he might be going back to when, you know, they were together, but getting his side of it. So again, we'll have to wait and see. Then we have, I think that was Elrond and Galadriel going into the water for some reason. No, that's the Ring of Fire. So that looks like that's probably Círdan. Who knows what's happening there? We obviously don't. We obviously don't know. That is, if you zoomed in, you'd probably be figured out, but obviously we don't know. Next up, we have Gil-galad, Elrond, and Galadriel having a meeting. Obviously, when the elves, I assume this is probably very, like I said earlier on in the season, with that same scene as before, where they're discussing the rings and, you know, why is Galadriel back? You know, she was supposed to be gone to the to Valinor, and I'm assuming Gil-galad's figuring out, you know, what's actually happened, what's going on, and why these rings have been created. Because obviously he wasn't there when the rings were created, which is you know, how you doing. And like as he says, he will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. You know, who was this man? And obviously we all know it is Sauron. So let's move on. Obviously we have this shot that we've seen before, as Elrond, Galadriel, and company are assaulted by Barrow-wights, which is interesting. Obviously Barrow-wight shouldn't be around at this point, but you know, it is what it is. If they're cool, it could be some other spectral thing, but you know, some other, you know, from ancient tombs of some point. You know, it might not be the Barrow Downs. It could be somewhere else, which would you know, who said they weren't? Who said they weren't other Barrow Downs in other places? Well, Tolkien did, but who knows? And you can see the male elf in the top left there actually has longer hair, which is kind of cool. Picture there of one of the Barrow-wights, which is kind of cool. Yeah, they're very, very, very cool design. And then Celebrimbor said, he's deceived me. And it seems like at this point, this is when Anatar comes into play, which is very, you know, ominous at this point. I don't know why. He's just making a big spectacle. So yeah, that's obviously Halbrand / Sauron / Anatar. And then we move on to the east. Obviously, that's where Nori and the Stranger were traveling to at the end of last season, into Rune, which I'm very excited about. We have a rider here. Could be just some random rider. Who knows? I don't know if who are these guys. These could be similar to those that coven that was looking for the Stranger in the last season. Could be like, you know, among them, or it could just be, you know, folk of this land. You know, they could be nice people. They could be evil. You just don't know. The masks represent, you know, suggest that they could be evil. But you know, who actually knows? And then we have the Stranger doing some magic, and Nori as well. And that looks like, again, one of those covens of I don't know what to call them, like the witches, or whatever you want to call them, the priestesses. That definitely looks like one of them as well. And it seems like this one does turn into a butterfly as well, but you know, who actually knows? But that looks like there's a lot more of them there. It's definitely the same clothes as the other ones we're wearing. So this might be like a whole, like, you know, order of priestesses who actually knows. And obviously we have the Stranger with a random stick, doing some magic, which would be cool to see. You know, makes a massive dust tornado, which is cool. Then we have the first interaction with Tom Bombadil. Again, I don't know why he's here. If he's played well, I'll be happy. The voice does sound really nice. You know, it does actually sound like what you'd expect Tom Bombadil to actually sound like. He's not singing, which is interesting. You know, who knows? He might go out into a song. He's being very serious here, but who knows? He's obviously in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, we don't really know much about Tom Bombadil, so who knows when he came about. But obviously, we're not in the Old Forest at this point. We're in Rune. Well, it's suggesting we're in Rune at the moment. So again, who knows whereabouts we are? But I'm excited to see what he's here for, and if they play him well, nice to actually finally see Tom Bombadil on screen, which is cool. Then we have Pharazôn looking into the Palantir. Again, I have a theory that this season he's probably going to try and take power. There was a line in the trailer, something about, you're wanting to be immortal or something like that. Obviously, that's why Numenor got drowned, because Pharazôn, under the influence of Sauron, which I assume is going to be in the third season, Sauron basically says, if you take the Undying Lands, you'll gain immortality, that kind of stuff. Because that's the weakness of men, obviously, is being mortal. Even though the Numenorians do live a little longer than normal humans, obviously immortality is a big gift that they want, and that's why the unfaithful go to sail to the Undying Lands with a massive navy, but the Valar don't like that, and Eru doesn't like that. So obviously things happen that I'm sure we'll figure it out. And that looks like another Palantir. That doesn't look like Pharazôn's hand, but it could be. Who knows? Maybe he's seeing what's going on. We have a Balrog again. He's cool. I don't know why he's here this early, and with the bridge collapsing a little bit later on, I don't understand why they're doing the Fall of Moria at this point. It might not be. It might just be a future. It could be a glimpse into the future. If you keep going down this road, this is what's going to happen, or something along those lines. I don't know. He's very, very cool. He's got like a flame spear. Can you just imagine a model for this in the strategy battle game? Like, this trailer makes me want models from this. I think there's a big talking point about this, which I'll probably get to after the trailer. So I'll get to that after the trailer, guys. Obviously, we have Durin and both Durins, I should say. Durin the Third, the king, having a chat with his son, but Durin doesn't want to take off the ring, and seems like he's a bit overpowered too. An old dwarf like that probably doesn't have the strength to do that, but who knows? Old Dane, he definitely has the strength to do that, but who knows? That's very, very cool nonetheless. Again, this looks like Khazad-dûm, but it also could be somewhere else. I think everyone's thinking it's Khazad-dûm, but I don't know. It could be somewhere else. It definitely looks very dwarvish. So again, I'm hoping we don't see the fall of Khazad-dûm in this series at all, because it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be. It doesn't happen until the Third Age. But again, it could just be a glimpse into the future. Maybe because Elrond does have foresight, so maybe he sees the future where Khazad-dûm is being destroyed by the Balrog, or something along those lines. Because the Balrog woke up pretty late in the last season, if you assume he woke up. So for him to be attacking Moria or Khazad-dûm at this point, it's a lot. It's very quick. So again, we'll have to wait and see about that. We have Disa here talking to Durin. Obviously she's not too. They're not too happy about that. Gonna heal herself. Who knows? Because obviously she's blind at this point. I think obviously they're going to try and hide that Muriel's blind, and I think this is how Pharazôn's going to get into power, where he's going to take over. I honestly don't know how it's going to happen, but maybe they find out Muriel's blind, the population finds out Muriel's blind, and Pharazôn's going to say, someone who's blind can't, lead us properly, and everyone's just going to switch to Pharazôn at that point. I assume that's how it's going to happen. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we have some rune here. We have the Stranger and Tom Bombadil in the bottom left there. Don't really know what they're doing here. We have more Khazad-dûm stuff with the mirrors, which is very, very cool because we have seen them in the Strategy Battle game at some point with the Khazad-dûm supplement. So you know there are dwarven mirrors, so it is definitely a possibility. And we have Celebrimbor here saying, "No, what have you done to me?" I'm assuming he's probably talking to Anatar at that point. We have the seems like the Siege of Eregion, which is going to be awesome. Cannot wait for it. Again, it's making me want to build like an Eregion board. Who, you know, at some point, I definitely want to. Like, Elven terrain's tricky. I think Elven terrain's very tricky to do, so I definitely think it could be happening. I am in the progress of doing like a Rings of Power supplement, making my own scenarios for the first season, and obviously I'll do some for the second season as well. So if you guys like to see that on the channel at some point, let me know. But I know obviously Rings of Power is a very divisive topic at the moment, but you know, all good things, all good things. We obviously have Anatar here. He's you know, obviously seeing what's happened. You know, maybe Adar. You know, obviously it's all in Sauron's plan, obviously, but you know, maybe Adar. Because he does look surprised here. Like the face does look a bit surprised, but maybe it couldn't be. Maybe he's surprised that, you know, it's being attacked this early. Maybe Adar wants to take the rings for himself. You know, I assume Sauron and Adar has probably been been talking to each other. I assume, and who knows? Maybe Adar now wants to take the power for himself. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, we have Lee Sauron to me with the cool sword on the left, and it's the sword that Theo had in the last season. I don't think it is because the pommel looks a bit different, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Then we have the crown again. I don't know if it's the same crown. Could be, but that's definitely Adar because it's the same. It's the same hand as the last season. And then we have orcs attacking elves, I assume. We have Elrond and Galadriel having a little chat. Then we have the orc army assuming to besiege Eregion with trebuchets and some trolls and a bunch load of orcs, which is very, very cool. Cannot wait for that. And you guys can see in the right there, we have the bridge. Now, that might be the same bridge as before, so it might not be Khazad-dûm, it might be Eregion, but again, the bridge design does look a bit different because it's a lot more angular, a lot more curvatures, whereas the other bridge was very angular with dwarven architecture, but we'll see. Obviously, we have Elrond here in the mix of battle. His armor looks awesome. Again, it makes me want models for these guys, for the elves, all that kind of stuff. It'd be very, very cool. This is probably after the siege, I assume. I don't know. Because I'm very confused because I haven't read the Silmarillion for a long time, or like Second Age stuff for a while. But I think that Elrond comes to help Eregion, but then they get pushed back. I think. I'm not too sure. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you guys know, because I'm not too caught up on the lore there. We have Adar leading the orcs. Again, this is probably around Eregion, I assume, or who knows, it could be somewhere else. Could be other battles. We have Tom as well. We have our first glimpse of Arondir as well, which is cool. You know, definitely loved him in the last season. He's definitely one of my favorite characters here. Talking to an Entwife. I assume this is an Entwife. You know, you don't want to be entist and not racist, but entist. But I assume this is an Entwife. Obviously, we know what happens to the Entwives. Obviously, by the Third Age and Treebig, you know, obviously they're gone at this point. I don't know where he is at this point to be speaking to an Entwife, because I think he went with Bronwyn and Theo and all that to Pelagia with the Southlanders. But I'm assuming that because the Bronwyn actress isn't in this season. She's not in this season, so I'm assuming Bronwyn maybe succumbed to her injuries, or maybe some time has passed, and maybe, I don't know, we haven't even seen Theo yet, so maybe Theo isn't even, maybe he died as well. maybe there's there's a big gap between the last season and this season, and you know, obviously mortality, you know, they're not Numenorians, they're just regular humans. So maybe they just died off, and Arondir is just really taken back by that. Then he's heading back to the elves at some point, and he meets up with an ant wife or something like that. I don't really know, because he's probably he definitely said forgive me to the tree he cut down in the last season. So maybe it's racked in his mind that, you know, he didn't want to do it, and the ant wife tells him forgiveness takes an age. I don't know, I'm just rambling here. I'm just trying to think of what it could be. Who knows. Then we have Durin and Elrond. Again, like I said, this was my favorite relationship in the last season. I think for everyone as well. You know, just their chemistry was very, very cool. And you know, Elrond asking for an axe, probably asking for help. Who knows? I'm assuming that, you know, Elrond on his way to Eregion goes to Khazad-dûm to ask help from Durin. Then Elrond goes to Eregion, gets pushed back from Eregion, and then Durin comes out of the mountain with his dwarves and saves him or something along those lines. I assume that's probably what's going to happen, like, you know, as it is in the lore. Which is cool. We're back with Numenor here, which is cool. Elendil. I don't know how this is going to work with Elendil and Isildur. You know, obviously he thinks that Isildur's dead. So he's probably going to be very morose this season. We'll see what happens here. We have Disa here, obviously. And we also have another dwarf. I don't know who this other dwarf is. I think, actually, I do think I know, but I forgot his name. Is it like Navi or something? I think he's been confirmed as like Navi or something, but I honestly don't know. But I think he's the one who created the Doors of Durin with Celebrimbor, or something along those lines. Again, apologies if I'm wrong, guys, but you know, it's been a while since I've read that kind of read the lore on that stuff. Obviously, we have some spiders here. I don't know where, because obviously the last time we saw Isildur, he was trapped in Mordor. Is this a young Shelob? Who knows? But it also could look like it could be Mirkwood, so I don't know why he's in Mirkwood or why he's fighting a spider. There's only one of them. Is this the path of Cirith Is this the path of Cirith? Because it looks like there's other bodies there. That there's one on the left there, if you guys can see, right there. Maybe a traveler or a companion, because Arondir and Isildur meet up at some point. So again, all these you know, interweaving storylines are being, you know, starting to meld into one. So I'm going to predict that this is actually Shelob, a young Shelob. But who knows? Who knows? I don't. Is this the right time for Shelob? I honestly have no idea. I know at some point she does come into the path of Cirith Ungol, but this is definitely, I think that's a young Shelob, and that's the path of Cirith Ungol, and this is how Isildur gets out of Mordor. He'll stumble across it or something like that. But we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. Because that scene, how the spider moves there, is definitely how Shelob works. You know, that's definitely like a Shelob-esque pose, which is kind of cool. Very, very cool. Then we have Durin here again, and looks like some of the dwarves here. We have a female dwarf on the left there with definitely some cheeky beard action going on, which is kind of cool. So we have definitely some dwarves here. Elrond there. So this is probably the relief force coming into Eregion. I don't know. We have some orcs on the right there, so maybe, I don't know, because the siege of Eregion does take a while, so maybe, I really don't know what's going on here, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And next up we have Arondir attacking some orcs, I believe, or it could be just some people. We have Isildur with him there as well. So maybe these are just you know, dark. They're definitely men. So maybe they're just I don't know, maybe like some other Southlanders that have turned to Mordor or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? But they're definitely not orcs. But it look like they're in orc armor, or like in orc garb. But that's definitely Arondir and Isildur there, which is interesting. Yeah. Anyway, then we move on to Disa. We just have some bats there, which is interesting. Bats, there's bats in Moria, I guess. I don't know what's happening on there. Then we have, I assume, Celebrimbor trying to destroy the rings, but it's obviously not going to happen. Then we have Pharazôn coming in on an eagle, or he's going on an eagle at some point. Obviously, there are eagle Eries on Numenor, so seeing eagles in Numenor is not it's not uncommon, but it's very cool to see an eagle. Definitely looks like an eagle from Lord of the Rings. Obviously, this is the start of the Siege of Eregion, which is cool. Again, it definitely makes me want to do scenarios on this as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we have some more about the siege, and then Anatar says, "You'll give me the 9," obviously for the 9 rings of men doomed to die. And we have a troll. I assume this is probably around more about the Battle of Eregion. Elrond there with a massive host of elves on cavalry. I'm guessing this is the relief force to try and break the siege of Eregion, which again, I just want to see these guys in SPG. They just look freaking awesome. Definitely looks a lot more towards what we know from Lord of the Rings, which is cool. So they smash into the orcs there, and that is the end of the trailer. Here we go, guys. That is the trailer for Rings of Power. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction, my little bit of breakdown of what I think about it, the trailer. I know it's probably very long, so I hope you guys got some painting done, all that kind of stuff. I know this trailer's been out for a while, probably since I posted this, but I thought I'd just get my opinions and what you guys think about it. Again, just be kind in the comments, guys. That's all I ask. You don't have to like the video. You don't have to do all that kind of stuff. But I just thought I'd like to get my thoughts and opinions out of it. And the trailer itself, I think, was really good. I think it was a really good trailer. Some of the parts obviously didn't make a lot of sense, and it probably won't until we actually watch the show. But I think it's definitely a big improvement on the last season. And that's for someone who enjoyed the last season for what it was. Going into SVG, it's making me want models. I know this is a very divisive topic about having Rings of Power models in SPG, but the way that I see it is obviously SPG is in a little bit of a slump at the moment. Obviously, we have the Ruin of Arnor, or the Arnor supplement coming out this month. Or sorry, not this month, but this year, I should say, sorry, by the end of this year. If we were to get Rings of Power stuff, it means that I think they would do both what they were doing originally and also Rings of Power stuff. I think that the surge of Rings of Power stuff would obviously create a much more hyped, you watch the Rings of Power and then you play the game. It's something along those lines. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. That's why I'm creating like my own scenarios for it. But I think it would benefit. It definitely would benefit the hobby and our hobby if we did get it. Obviously, it's not going to be for everyone. I think that's definitely the understatement of the century. A lot of people don't want it, but I think it would improve what people's reaction to the Rings of Power would be. I think a lot of people were the same about The Hobbit. A lot of people didn't like the Hobbit movies, but they liked the Hobbit game, like the SPG aspect of it, and it made people like the Hobbit movies more from what they played in the game. I think that's exactly what it would happen with the Rings of Power. I think obviously not going to change everyone's mind, neither should you, because everyone should have their own opinion. Again, this is just my opinion and my thoughts and my reactions to Rings of Power. I am also thinking about maybe doing like a breakdown with a few friends. We're planning on doing like a watch party with it. So I don't think we'll do the actual watch party live or anything like that, but we might do like a bit of an episode breakdown at the end of it, and I might post it up on this channel. So if you guys would like to see something like that, let me know in the comment section below, and get other people's reactions, not just mine, but a few of my mates as well online. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. But I'm going to get out of here because this video is probably going on for so long, so apologies guys, but I think it was nice to get it was nice to go through it and actually seeing it, because that was my first reaction to the trailer, guys. That's my first reaction. I haven't watched it before, so I'm pretty damn excited for almost a month away. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, happy gaming.